Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. We're going to kind of break tradition here on Late Night Health. One of my favorite things is science fiction. I love science fiction movies. I love science fiction books. I love fantasy books. Our guest is William R. Forstmann. Bill has a doctorate in history. He has been called I'm trying to see it, is the prophet of a new dark age. The wise will listen. You've written a new novel called 48 Hours. The sun erupts, time is running out, humanity faces its ultimate nightmare. Which, with politics today, I thought that was the nightmare. With the polarization of America. Is this plausible? Is 48 hours plausible?
Your comment is where I'm going to start, because a fair part of the motivation, a part of the motivation was, I am so up to here with how we as Americans are ripping ourselves apart. Liberal, conservative, whatever race, ethnicity, we can barely sit down in the same room and talk. And an example I like to give, some folks might remember the image of a plane crash of some years back that crashed in the Potomac River, and most of the people on the plane died. And there's incredible footage of a guy leaping out of his car, running down to the bank of the river, jumping in, swimming out. This is Ice River in January, grabs hold of a woman out of the wreckage and pulls her back. He's hailed as a hero. Did he ask her if she was a Democrat or a Republican?
I love it.
There's times when we should be able to transcend those type of differences. We all have so much in common. And that became one of the themes I was trying to write about in this book, that suppose humanity was presented, as Rod Serling used to say, presented for your consideration. We might only have 48 hours left, and a solar eruption will wipe us out. What do you do? What would you do in those last 48 hours?
To me, we have to get together. Even
if it means, if the solar event that's going to happen, a coronal proton injection, is intense enough, get together or not, unless you're 200 feet underground, you'll be dead within a matter of minutes. You'll be so overloaded with rads, thousands per square meter. But what would we do in those 48 hours as individuals? We all face our mortality individually. Suppose we were facing the mortality of the entire species. What would we do different?
Has this happened as a professor of history? You're in North Carolina?
Yes, near Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay, in near Asheville, be sure to have some barbecue for us. I know it's not particularly healthy, but North and South Carolina barbecue is among the best in the world. Much better than most of what we get here in Southern California, where Late Night Health is based. But is there evidence that this kind of solar flare or some catastrophe has destroyed other species? I mean, what happened to the dinosaurs, and why aren't they in the Bible?
I stumbled into this topic backwards. I was writing a book more about CME, which is about it disrupts the electrical grid, but we survive. And then I hit CTE. And there's speculation we might have been hit by one 13,000 years ago, because there was a die-off of a number of species in North America. Suddenly all the woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers and all, they're just gone. And the common theory has been, gradual climate change. No, it seemed like it was pretty quick. There was an article only a couple weeks ago that all of humanity might be descended from one mother. And they traced the time back to a couple 100,000 years ago, concurrent with when there was a large species die-off. So maybe it has, but a statistic to point out, there's more probability of this happening than having one of those giant asteroids come rolling in that, the astronauts have to go out and try and blow up just before it hits us. That's a low probability event.
But there was an article. I mean, that's giving credence to the Bible, to the story of Adam and Eve. Scientists have, up until now, then said, not necessarily one person, one mother, and now there's evidence to say that there could be.
Could be. It was an article. It was only 2 or 3 weeks back. I wish I could pull back in my brain where I read it. It was not one of these the Sun from United Kingdom type of stuff. I mean, this was. It might even have been the Times or the Washington Post. I could be.
So if but that would give. I mean, that would again give credence to your book. The statement that you just gave, in that we don't get along and we need to.
Yes.
We're all the same.
Yeah. It's a commonality for all of us. It's a very interesting question.
It is. It truly is, even though we may be white or black or yellow or green or who knows what. If something like this happened, I'm going to call it a solar flare because I'm not.
It is an oversized flare. Yes,
right, and they happen all the time, and they do disrupt us here on Earth in terms of communications, satellites, electrical grids, and things like that. I remember being caught on the eastern seaboard a number of years ago when, as my plane touched down at JFK, all of the electricity in the greater New York area went out. And you remember that?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Oh my! Actually, it turned out to be a great weekend. Power came back on. I had a super weekend and a lot of great food, but it was scary at the same time. Recently, I live in Ventura County, and we had fires, and that was scary, being mandatorily evacuated. But people of all kinds gathered together. I mean, one group saved horses because we have a lot of horses and other animals. Do you think that's this is a novel, but there's got to be a message here.
I believe at some point in the novel, my main character quotes Abraham Lincoln. One of my favorite Lincoln quotes was appealing to the better angels of our nature. And it does seem, in general, in a moment of crisis, the vast majority of people start working together. Now, if the crisis goes on for weeks or months, it becomes problematic. But who organized going out and saving just horses? What about the pets that were left behind? Where are people going to stay? It's always a wonderful thing to see where people pull together. You just wish it would stay that way all the time.
Absolutely. Will cockroaches inherit the earth?
I know a couple.
Yes, they live in Washington.
Yeah. I didn't vote for them.
No, me neither. But that's the point. I mean, as I said, fantasy science fiction is a genre that I read a lot. We're actually doing this interview in each of our offices, and all those books behind me that you see, Bill, are all alternative health books. Cancer's My Best Friend, Energy Healing, and things of this nature, and that's for late night health. But one of the things that I've always found is that science fiction kind of says, hey guys, wake up, pull together. Asimov certainly did that in Nightfall, and Heinlein and all of these guys, right?
Yeah, Heinlein, Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury is one of my great heroes. Even George Powell's great movie from 1951, When Worlds Collide, where a group of people make a rocket ship, but only 40 people are going to be able to get on it. And science fiction, I mean, gives you the wide open field. You can go anywhere. Now, most of what I write is history, technological issues, and I try to keep it as fact-based as possible. But I have more than one science fiction book on the shelf behind me. That's where I got started. I wrote about 15 or 20 pure science fiction novels before going back to grad school and then becoming far more into history and technology.
Well, Asimov did the same thing, except he got his doctorate in some kind of chemistry or whatever. Mm-hmm. You mentioned 1951, and one of the great all-time movies that really said, look, if you guys don't get your act together, we're going to take you out. Mm-hmm. Remember the movie? You know what I'm... Yeah.
Well, I cannot remember how to turn the robot off. Yeah. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Yes. Michael Rennie. Yeah.
It was a great film. Hey, everybody. The book is called 48 Hours. William Forreston is the author. It's the sun erupts, time is running out, humanity faces its ultimate nightmare, and we're going to take some time out and come back to talk about William a little bit more. We'll talk about his history background as well. The book is, I've glanced at it, I got this, and I haven't had a chance to read it, but this weekend, after the science fiction movies that I will be seeing, including Aquaman. Oh, I saw Aquaman. It was great. And again, even in Aquaman, we have to pull together, right?
I've always found that within my profession, that area, there's a heck of a lot of us who are idealists and right to try and say, hey, isn't there a better way we could be doing things? And there's guys like me who occasionally try to scare the dickens out of you.
And exactly. But we're going to talk about the dark age, because I want this to be the age of Aquarius. Mm-hmm. Light and fairies and bright and everybody getting along. Yes. Right? William and I and the insane Daryl Wayne return as Late Night Health continues. Please join us at latenighthealth.com. Latenighthealth.com. We'll have a picture of William, whether he wants it or not, on our website. And we'll also have a link to the book, 48 Hours, Tom Doherty, Associate. All right, we'll be back. Don't go away as Late Night Health continues. Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.
The latest from the greatest, the best in new music by classic rockers, with your host, the insane Daryl Wayne.
This is Alice Cooper, and if Daryl Wayne is insane, what does that make me? Criminally insane. Stick around to find out.
Many of the artist interviews for the latest from the greatest have been captured on audiobook. There is a Volume 1 and Volume 2. Great information and conversations with people in the industry and people surrounded by the industry, and of course the rock stars themselves.
I'm the Reverend Al Green, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne. And I said Wayne Insane.
You can find it on Amazon or Blackstone Audio. Search for the latest from the greatest from Daryl Wayne, DARRELL WAYNE.
Hello, this is Weird Al Yankovic, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne, aren't you?